guys, welcome to a new ride for you all. This is my 2007 Honda S2000. It's an AP2, and it is my little dedicated track car slash rental car on Turo. Helps it pay the bills. Up here on Skyline Boulevard with my buddy. Might be able to see him. He's behind us in a E36 M3 that he just bought. So thought we'd do a little cruise up here, even though it's a little moist, kind of wet. Thought we'd just take these guys out for a drive and shakedown and test for his new car. I'm on some shitty tires right now. They're on my track wheels, but car is fairly set up. It's got Öhlins coilovers. It's got a thicker front sway bar, which is pretty popular in these guys. Some new brake pads, stainless steel lines. Good little setup for the track. I'm pretty much good to go on it. I'm going to install the Honda tuner here shortly to get a little extra power and to lower the VTEC from, there it goes, from 6,000 down to 5. But yeah, I want to kind of talk about this car. It's such a fun little car to drive. Even in the stock suspension setup, it definitely was not the most flat handling car, but it soaked up crappy roads very, very well, which made it awesome for some little back roads up here in the Bay Area. Yeah, fully stock was fun. It's definitely not a fast car by any means. It's got pretty much no torque, but it definitely scoots once you get in the power band and start unleashing the 240 horsepower. So if no one's ever driven one of these, just don't drive any like muscle car before, because you'll feel like it has no go to it. But you get this thing up in the twisties, it is a lot of fun. It's really just a great little car, and I kind of chose it as my track car because it's fairly inexpensive. It's not cheap like a Miata, but it's not, if I crash it's not a $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 car. So I can definitely push it a little bit harder. Parts are cheap for it. They're also super reliable. This engine is great. It loves getting beat on. This car, a little over 99,000 miles now. I think I bought it with 94, 95. So the rental service has definitely put some miles on it. I've probably put a little over 1,000 miles on it myself. Not a ton, but it's more just for kind of bopping around like this weekend. Just get up in the hills and go on a little cruise. Really, really great car. I understand why there's such a big following for these. I've wanted one since I was in college and just never bought one until now. But I've driven many of them. And I will say the one thing that kind of annoys me is that when people are like, oh, the AP1 is way more raw, blah, blah, blah. And I was actually looking to get an AP1. When you drive the two back to back, which I have done on several occasions, there is really minimal difference. Even though the red line's 9,000 instead of 8, they still sound identical. When you're revving out there, they still take forever to rev out. I think the AP2 has like 8 foot-pounds more. It's something negligible. There's no more torque. It's pretty much the same exact car. A couple things that are kind of quirky and that I don't really love. The main one being the steering wheel does not move at all. It's fixed to the dash, which is fine because it's not far away, but it's just too low. I wish it could be adjusted. I wish the seat could kind of go up and down, go a little bit lower. It honestly, I kind of feel like I'm sitting high, even though this car is so low. It gives me great visibility, but for taller people, my buddy's 6'3", he like cannot even fit in this car at all. His head's basically going outside the roof. I fit in it well. It's just still the steering wheel. I wish it was a little bit higher and a little bit closer to my chest. That's my kind of main gripe with, honestly, that's my main gripe with the car. Other than that, it's a little bit tail happy, so it's kind of nice. It's a good training module for driving my GT3 and just having a rear bias car, because this rear end tends to get loose if you do too much lift off. When the back end starts going, it goes pretty quick. I lost it twice on a track day. Just kind of pushing it in, feeling the car's limits. So not going to get too wild on the back road, especially when it's this wet up here. It's got way wetter from the fog. Yeah, kind of very happy, but that also makes it really fun. It's very well balanced. It's just such a great little handling car. All right, we are taking the E36 out for a drive now. It's still wet. It's got 215,000 miles on it. Sounds pretty good. See how she handles. This is a much better road than the other one we were on. larger car than the S2000. There we go. This section's fun. Chassis feels really good. I don't like that the steering wheel also doesn't move in this car. It's kind of tilted too far forward. Not the best gearing for this road. Springs and I forget who makes the dampers. Feels good though. Suspension feels really good. Not bad to Hill Toe. Not as good as S2000 though. Really long throws. I would definitely want to get a short shifter in this. They feel good, they're just long. Chassis feels really good though. See, it's absolute trash though. It, like, even when you put it forward, the top part, look how far back my head goes. There we go. Feels incredibly awkward. I'm actually uncomfortable. The seats look really cool though in this car. Like the little stripes. Got an M2 chasing us. He don't know how to drive. Not my favorite brake feel. Throughout so long. Yeah. Yeah, the tone is really good. The throttle sensitivity is good. I think it responds really well to my input. It drives up quick enough. Like the that's a good part about the exponential aspirated motors. Yeah, it's funny. These cars, they both have about 240 horsepower, give or take. Obviously, the S2000 is lighter, but this thing's got more torque. So, performance-wise, they're probably fairly similar, at least in a straight line. But yeah, this is a great handling car. The steering rack is definitely less direct than the S2000. The S2000's really, every little input you put in the car is moving around. It's got a pretty short ratio. I don't know exactly what the numbers are on it, but it's low. This thing sounds good though. Inline sixes, doing well. Apparently these things, there's a lot of these cars that are well over 200,000 miles. Nobody was just telling me that one of the guys in the forums has 600,000 miles on his engine. It's just nuts. It's funny because this feels much more, it's not quite a GT car, but it doesn't feel like a super small little nimble sports car like my 911 or like the S2000. But it's very sporty in terms of the actual performance. And again, the chassis feels like it's doing really well. It's just more like the seat position. We're pretty high up here. I can see really well, which is great. It's got really good visibility actually. This A-pillar is close enough to me where it's not blocking my field of view at all, which I love. A lot of modern cars, it's so far forward that it's hard for you to see. But yeah, for a car this is a 95. It's one of the first years of the E36. It's got the 3-liter. I think they increased it to a 3.2 a little bit later on. But for a car that's what, 12 years old? No, sorry, over 20 years old rather. That's great. You can get these things between. He paid a little over $4,000 for this with the salvage title, but six to 10 for a decently clean one. on the bang for your buck factor. For under 10 grand, you definitely get a very good example of the car, which S2000, you might be able to get an AP1 for around 10 grand. Depends on where you're at. Usually they're a little bit more than that. Some parts of the country, maybe 9